Hi, welcome to Keto Life Support, where we make your keto life sustainable, fun, and low stress. I'm Kim Howerton from theketonis.com, and I'll be coming to you weekly with some of my keto besties to bring you the practical, real-world keto advice that you need. Quick disclaimer, I am not a doctor, and even if we have a doctor in the house, he or she is not your doctor, and nothing on this show should be taken as medical advice. Always check with a trusted medical professional about your personal medical concerns. Hi, and welcome to Keto Life Support. This is Kim Howerton, and I am joined by the ever delightful Neisha Berry. Say hi. So this is the episode in which we get the pleasure of Neisha's company because Neisha is my lifestyle partner. I mean, it sounds weird. We're BFFs. We're friends.
Keto benefits.
Right. Friends with keto benefits. Nice. Does that mean we carry gold as exchanged?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Carry gold, and you introduce me to all the right people who give me free things. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So one of the things that I love to talk about with Neisha is that we both love stuff, and we love keto stuff, and we like shopping, but we also just know that living a keto life isn't only about what you eat. It's about how you live, and a lot of factors go into having a successful keto experience. And then a lot of good things come out of being keto. And one of the topics we're going to discuss today is that. So Neisha, can you tell me a little bit about why you went keto?
Well, my husband, I don't know if you know him.
I met him.
His name is Ken Berry, and he had been talking about this keto diet for probably a year and a half before I really gave into it. And I gave into it because I had heard that it really boosts your immune system and helps you bounce back. And I had mono, so I gave it a try to see if it would help me bounce back from mono, and it did. I was back at work within a week of having full-blown mono, which is almost unheard of. So I was like, maybe there's something to this. And so I just kept eating it. And it started out dirty keto, lazy keto, and you finally evolved into what we are right now, which is almost carnivore. He is carnivore, but I still eat a little veg every now and then. But it's one of those things that it was unbelievable what people say about it until you try it and experience it for yourself. Because not only did I heal my body, I have Hashimoto's, so I also was healing that with the keto. All my markers dropped. It's pretty much in remission as of now. Like, I'm asymptomatic. It's insane. I have energy, no more brain fog. And also I lost, some of the weight that Hashimoto's put on. I wasn't overweight by any means, but I had put on that inflammation that, having that disease does to you. And then I was also having fertility problems and going to a fertility specialist and having a lot of issues getting pregnant. And finally we ended up doing IVF because I was unspecified infertility, which means I didn't have PCOS or anything like that. It was just Hashimoto's, and then they didn't know what else. So we did IUI and then IVF, and now we're pregnant.
Woo, very exciting. Babyberry.
Babyberry on the way.
Yeah. So, a lot of people know about keto helping turn around infertility in cases of things like PCOS, right? That's right. More commonly known. But just overall, it seems like eating a low-carb diet has multiple benefits in terms of fertility. Do you know a little bit about the details of that?
Well, we're good friends now with a doctor out of New York. His name is Dr. Kiltz, and he's actually a fertility specialist.
Okay.
And I've spoken with him about keto because he is a real advocate for it now. And he was like, I was having problem getting all these women pregnant. I couldn't get them pregnant no matter what I did. And then all of a sudden, they started eating keto on their own because I was like, that's not going to hurt anything. It's fine. Do what you think is best. And then they started getting pregnant. And he was like, what is this thing that is getting these women pregnant that I couldn't do? So he went into a lot of research into how it affected. And for the, he broke it down, in layman's terms. Basically, it's when you eat crap, you have inflammation throughout your entire body, but especially in your bowels. And your bowels sit right on top of your uterus, causing all that inflammation to kind of just like percolate right there. Not only that, but sugar sits in your gut. It just causes all these problems. It's not a good atmosphere for a baby to be, cooked in, basically. You're making all that part where the baby would sit through a pregnancy just in turmoil constantly. And that's just the layman's. I'm sure there's completely like scientific way of talking about it, but basically it's just like the cleaner you're eating, your bowels and your insides are cleaner, and it's a homeostasis in your body is the way that it should be.
Right. I mean, well, inflammation is a huge issue. Your body recognizes chronic inflammation to mean that you're in some state of crisis, and potentially, it's not going to want to implant a baby when your body is not a hospitable environment.
Exactly. It does. It puts your body in a state of emergency, basically, and your body is smart. If it thinks you're in crisis, it's not really smart to knock you up.
Right. Bad timing.
Bad timing, right.
Yeah. And modern eating has sort of created a constant crisis.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. Keto baby is a term for a reason. Even for people that aren't meaning to get pregnant sometimes, they find they suddenly are much more fertile than they were before.
Yeah, I think there's several women who had thought they went through the change and then ended up having another baby later on in life. And that just speaks to the power of what you put in your body. Not even just like, I don't even want to say just keto, but like putting the things that your body is supposed to have in it and taking out all the crap. That is amazing that it can literally turn back the clock on a woman who has went through menopause and make her pregnant.
Yeah, I mean, I know like Lily Nichols is I think she's a nutritionist. She might be an RD, who has written books on, keto pregnancy and what to eat when you're pregnant, and very much sort of a Weston A. Price approach in there. And it seems very much about, returning to sort of whole ancestral foods being the best sort of milieu for pregnancy.
Exactly.
And so did you go on a specific, because I know before you were doing the IVF, you were kind of like slightly veg heavy when you wanted to be, but you would alternate back and forth. So it was like meat, some veg, rinse and repeat.
I was really veg heavy. And then when we made the decision to do IVF, that's when I found Dr. Kiltz and did a lot of research. And he really strongly pushes, he calls it the baby diet. It's spelled BEBBI, and it just stands for bacon, eggs, butter, beef, and fatty homemade ice cream, which is just heavy whipping cream, basically, that's frozen as a snack, just to give yourself a little treat.
Yeah.
So, it's carnivore.
Yeah.
What he is pushing is carnivore. And so I was like, I had talked to him, and he has a lot of experience with it. And my specialist, I obviously talked to my doctor as well. And he was like, yeah, whatever you want to do. He knows that, Ken and I do our own thing. And he was fine with it. So like, I'm not telling people to just do what they want to do. Obviously talk to your doctor. But that's the way that I went. And that's exactly how I really contribute, because most people have to go through multiple rounds of IVF. And I really, we are so lucky and blessed that we had one round and one egg, and it stuck. And that's the only thing I changed, was that I was eating meat heavy keto. Now I did have like maybe once a week I would have Brussels sprouts or something like that. But that's nothing compared to what I was eating. I was eating veggies every single day, maybe 2 or 3 times a day. And then I was like just bacon and beef. I didn't eat any chicken. I ate a lot of eggs and butter and meat grease. Like I didn't do olive oils or coconut oils or any of those that are like more processed. It was straight from the source fat.
Nice. Yeah, I know. I have a good friend who I mentioned to you, Carolina Cartier, and Carolina was kind of an interesting story. She at one time was over 300 pounds with a fasting insulin of 70. you can believe it, which is very high. And no doctor had ever tested it. It was sort of, it's a similar story. We're all on this journey and suddenly we get this thing tested and we're like, why has no one paid attention to this? But she had really significant PCOS or PCOS. And she was anovulatory. She didn't have period, right? Like her hormones were so disordered that her body was like, whatever. And she went keto. And now for her, within 4 months of keto, and she was doing some veg, but it was like high fat keto, kind of more, all whole foods, no processed food, processed is kind of a confusing word, but all, recognizable whole foods, no like highly processed foods. And then she, within 4 months, got her period. And then now within a couple of years, gave birth to twins, spontaneous twins, no intervention. And so she went on it was a longer journey to heal her damaged body. But she had a lot more damage than you. We all start from a different place. Right. But, there was no other intervention for her but keto and some fasting, keto and fasting. I kind of see those on a continuum. Yeah. And so, over and over again, I hear these stories about how keto just makes the body a hospitable place for a fetus.
Mm-hmm. I think it's just like survival mode in your body. If it feels like you're happy and there's lots of fat and lots of meat, then you're doing well, obviously, because you're being able to feed your body and you're going to be able to feed your body and sustain a fetus. Yeah.
Right. And so now that you are with child, how are you eating differently than you were before? Are you?
No, I had already cut out caffeine anyways, and my doctor said that I could have a cup of coffee to 2 cups of coffee if I wanted to. Most doctors actually say that that's fine. I have unsweet tea that's cut sometimes just because I like the flavor, but that's not enough caffeine to do anything for this girl. Because I was drinking, God, how much espresso a day was I drinking? Probably like, up to 10 shots of espresso a day.
Nice. A 10-shot espresso day.
Yes. Like, I love coffee. And so I'd already cut that out. So, and actually, surprisingly, it was easy. I didn't even get headaches. I don't know. That was really weird. Like, thank you, God. But that was the main change that I made, was cutting out the caffeine, because I'd already adapted to the meat-heavy keto. And then after I got my positive pregnancy test, I just maintained that. I eat a lot of beef, a lot of brisket. That's just kind of what I want right now. What else do I eat? I drink tons and tons and tons of water. I really like just well-seasoned meat is what I want. Yeah. And I don't know if that's because that's what my body was used to before I got pregnant, so it was already pre-programmed to want that kind of thing. But yeah, I haven't had really any cravings that are like, I gotta have it, except for meat, which is really weird, but I'm okay with
it. That's good. I guess if you're going to have a craving for meat is probably not a bad craving to have.
Yeah.
Especially in your house. There is plenty of meat there.
Yeah, exactly.
So, in some of the keto pregnancy groups that I'm in, I see people struggling a little bit, because sometimes in pregnancy, people hit a time period of like food aversion, which can come up, at various times. And I understand you haven't hit that point, and hopefully you will not hit that point.
Well, I do have food aversions, but it's to things I wouldn't really want anyways. Like, I'm not, like eggs or whatever, if they're cooked in beef tallow, I can't eat them. They have to be cooked in bacon grease. And then we went out to dinner one night, and it wasn't like, I had lamb chops and, lobster bisque and beef tartare, and it was good, but it wasn't as good as it normally is. So it's not that I'm like, I can't eat that. It's just like, that just doesn't taste as good as I want it to, that kind of thing. But I can deal with that. It's not like I can't eat anything. Yeah. And I am, the things that I'm craving are pretty simple. So.
Right. Okay. Well, that's good. Good. What do you think people should know about keto and fertility if there's somebody that's struggling with this concept?
that it's not as complicated as people would like to make it. I think that a lot of the time it gets made into a very complicated thing when it's really as simple as don't eat crap, eat your meat, add good fats to your food. And honestly, I think cutting down the veggies is something that most people should do and not be scared that you're not getting enough fiber because you might be constipated. Like, just take some magnesium. If you have that problem, I take some magnesium at times just because progesterone in general is going to make a woman constipated, and it has nothing to do with your fiber. That's hormones.
It's hormones, yeah.
Yeah. So, make sure that you're ready for that if you are going to try to get pregnant. It's not the veggies, it's your hormones. So magnesium drops are very easy to come by these days. You can buy it on Amazon for not much at all. And just eat real food, eat meat, eat your meat. Just eat your meat. It's very simple. Eat your meat and make sure that you're getting enough fat.
Yeah. One of the things that I do hear people talking about in pregnancy is that liver can be very helpful. So I'm sending Neisha I sent it to you already, but
you did.
We'll post it on the webpage recipe for liver pate.
Yeah. And I have eaten a lot of liver, actually. Ken makes me liver using the batter that I use for my chicken nuggets. Oh. Yeah. So we just use the same batter, deep fry them in beef tallow, and just fried chicken livers. It's not as fancy as pate, but
but fried chicken livers are supposed to be delicious.
They are delicious. So we've been upping my liver, that's for sure. But I think that's good for everyone. I think everyone needs to eat liver. I don't think that that's something that is special for a pregnant woman. I think liver is amazing, and everyone should eat it at least once a week.
Good. Yeah, it is kind of a nutritional powerhouse in a lot of ways. Yeah. And I will admit, I don't love the taste of cooked liver, but I love it in a pate, so I'll do that. So in terms of the Babyberry experience, how's Ken doing?
Oh, he is a champ. Of course, he's, somebody asked me today, has Ken changed any? And I was like, no. And they were like, oh, well, my husband, was really dope. He made me coffee or, made me drinks and brought me food or blah, blah. And I was like, well, he always has done that. So, I mean, he still is doing just what he normally does. I mean, he's very accommodating, obviously, but, he's just excited. I think he's a little bit in shock still. I think we both are because we didn't really, we wanted it to work, but we were very realistic,
Right, that it doesn't always work on the first try.
Exactly. Most of the time it doesn't. So I think we're both still in that phase where we're like, this is real. Okay. All right. Yeah.
Get ready.
Mm-hmm.
So do you feel like, it's not as complicated as most people make it out to be, but, I find a lot of people listening to a lot of people talking about a lot of things and getting very confused. So who do you listen to around keto and fertility? You already mentioned one.
Yeah, Dr. Kiltz he's just great. He's a wealth of knowledge. It is Kiltz. He actually has Facebook Live that he does every Sunday. I think it's the same time as Dr. Berry's and mine. He does fireside chats and he talks about fertility, but he's just a wealth of knowledge because he's very open to the fact that we don't know anything about reproduction, really. We're at the very, just like kind of gut bacteria, how Ken says we don't know shit about shit. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like that, like the woman's reproductive system and the way that works is just such a miracle. And just the way there's so many steps and so many things, it's just really crazy. But his whole message is basically what I said. Just it's really simple. Don't feed your body crap. Feed it real food and keep it happy and keep it fed. He says this 3 F's, which I can't say those on here. he says feed them, beep them, and put them to bed. And something else, but he says it's very simple. Just get back to our basics and feed your body the food that it needs to be at its happiest. And that's basically just fat and meat. Right.
And now you weren't somebody that had a lot of excess body. You don't have really any excess body fat in terms of needing to lose weight. And certainly not at this point. Like you said, when you first went keto, you lost kind of those couple of pounds of inflammation and maybe a little bit of bloating. But do you know, I do see people who maybe are starting very heavy with major insulin problems, and then they're trying to get pregnant, and it kind of they have to maybe go on a little bit of a longer journey. Mm-hmm. Are you familiar with anybody that's been through this or had anything about that?
It seems to me, the women that I have spoken to actually have a less traumatic experience trying to get pregnant, because it's very clear cut that what is holding them back from having a baby is the PCOS, which is, diabetes of your ovaries, insulin in your ovaries, making your ovaries and reproductive organs sick. Okay. That's where the problem is. We know where it is, and we know how to fix that. So once people start, taking out the grain and the sugar and the wheat and the, excess dairy and like all of those things, your body just starts to heal itself, and then your cycles come back, and then you get pregnant. Whereas with me, it wasn't clear cut on why I wasn't getting pregnant. So for women with PCOS, most women see a lot of success if they just stop eating, all that sugar, wheat, and dairy and all of that stuff, and cut out the caffeine and just really get their body healthy, drop that weight, and heal their ovaries.
Yeah, absolutely. I see a lot of people, they do drop a bunch of weight, but it's not like you have to be a skinny mini to increase your fertility.
No.
It's the insulin, it's the background stuff, it's the inflammation, the weight.
It's what's inside that is mattering on it. It's not what you look like on the outside. Many women don't have to lose much weight at all for their insulin already to start healing their body, and then they get pregnant.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think a lot of people who maybe are heavy and they just found out about keto, but they've been trying to get pregnant for maybe a couple of years, being given maybe advice that's not super helpful, including, well, if you lose the weight, then it'll be easier for you to get pregnant. But I honestly feel like they're missing a step, which is if you do the thing to heal your body, that will then cause you to lose the weight, the healing of the body.
Yes, there's lots of ways to lose weight, and not all of them are healthy. In fact, most of them aren't healthy. So, losing weight is not the best advice that you could give a woman, especially, she's in an emotional state and you're going to call her, fat. That's not good for anybody. Like, she doesn't want to hear that. That's not helping anybody. But if you teach her how to heal her body and give her the tools that she needs, then that's going to help her not only take control of her health and like give her the education that she needs, and you know what I mean? Like, it's not just like lose weight and get on Weight Watchers or South Beach or whatever. It's here is what's happening in your body. Here is why it's happening. And here's what you can do to fix it. You're not broken. Your body isn't broken. Your body is just sick. And it's because of what you're putting in it. And all you have to do is change that.
Right. Yeah. I think that it's amazing how, like you were saying earlier, like we're just touching the surface of knowing how our digestion works and how fertility works. And it's like so many moving pieces, but, it worked just fine before we understood it. Right.
Exactly.
It's a process that works if we facilitate it, and we just kind of, in some ways, have to get out of the way.
Exactly. That's exactly right. It's just once you get out of the way of nature finds a way. You know what the guy says in Jurassic Park, like, nature finds a way. You just have to stop. Dr. Berry says this all the time. It's not about adding something to fix you. It's about taking all the things away that we've added that we didn't actually need in the first place.
Right. And clearly, given Neisha's recent IVF, we are not arguing against medical intervention.
No, obviously not.
But
I had a lot of medical intervention.
but saying that in terms of creating an appropriate environment for your body, there are certain things that we are all capable of to increase our health. And, if you hadn't done the things that you did personally to increase your chances of being fertile, adding a medical intervention on an unstable foundation probably would have had very different results.
That's exactly what I think. I think that's what happened, because and like I've always say this, like eating keto is not going to knock up every single person. It didn't knock me up. Like I had to have a lot of help, but I did get my body in the best place it could possibly be for the interventions that I needed to get pregnant. But you know, like at the end of the day,
right,
just because they put an embryo in there, that didn't mean it was going to stick. If I was eating cookies, candies, and Coke, would that baby have said, this is a happy place and I want to stay here? Maybe not. So, but I know in my heart at the end of the day that I did what I needed to do to make sure that it was as happy in there as it could possibly be. So, yeah.
Yeah. Now it's interesting because you know, for a couple of years, I've talked to you and Dr. Berry, and Dr. Berry would say, well, my body doesn't handle vegetables very well, but Neisha seems to. And because, you know, where you're from in the world and your ancestry and, you know, Dr. B couldn't keep the weight down unless he went very low to no vegetable, but you had no issue externally. But now you're saying more recently you've come to believe that reducing the vegetables was an important step to your increased fertility. We are simply shooting the breeze right now. We're just theorizing, but do you have any theories?
Yeah. Well, different strokes for different folks is what I say, but here is my, you know, theory. I think that I thought I was fine on veggies because I had never taken the veggies away. Just like I thought I was fine on carbs and sugar until I took them away. And then I was like, wow, I actually felt really crappy. How did I not know how crappy I felt? And not necessarily did I feel crappy with the veggies, but my digestive, I noticed when I reintroduced them that like, it's a little rumbly in my tumbly now. And, you know, maybe I'm a little gassier and it's not as easy peasy as like I ate a steak and like I have no issues whatsoever, you know? So I think it's just, I became a little more conscious of how my body reacted to the vegetables more than like, I was fine and now I'm not. It's just, I thought I was, and it's fine. Like I don't get super sick or whatever when I have veggies, but they weren't making me feel great when I reintroduced them. I was literally just eating them because I was like, yum, I love Brussels sprouts cooked in bacon grease with Parmesan and truffle on top, you know? Yeah. But they don't make me feel the best. I feel the best when I eat meat, which is really annoying because that means the Berry was right again.
I know, darn it, right? You want to be like, no, I am right.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
You are much better at decorating, I will say, and accessorizing, and you have many skills that Berry does not possess.
Yes, I do.
But, you know, it's similar for me. I feel better. I look better. I function better the fewer vegetables I eat, which is sad because I can down some veggies. I love them. Like I'm not, you know, some people will come to keto and be like, oh, do I have to eat vegetables? I hate them. And you're like, no, it's fine. But I was like, oh, I like salad. But it's not like me.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not a veg hater at all. It just is like, well, you know, darn it, apparently my body likes it better when I eat meat.
Right. And it's so hard. I mean, I'm kind of jumping topics, but we're both women. And I think we were raised, I mean, men might say they were also raised this way, but like I was raised to kind of fill my plate with vegetables to try and like keep my weight down.
Yes.
It was like an early education. Like most of your plate should be vegetables because it'll fill you up without giving you too many calories.
Yeah.
Do you remember this education?
Oh, yeah. Well, and I also was around some girls that really believed in that. So we would go to lunch and I would want to order the burger and everybody else would have a chicken salad. And I was like, but it doesn't, the salad's okay, but just a chicken salad. It's just, and then I'd be starving. Like 2 hours later, I'd be starving. So, but yeah, it's, I don't know, it's a society thing. Women just need more veggies. And are you sure you want the steak, ma'am?
You know, it's funny. I was just reading a study this morning. They did like I didn't even bring the details with me, but there was a study that showed that women, I think it was out of Australia. It was somewhere where lamb was a big thing, where women who ate at least like meat, at least, you know, four-ish days a week had much lower rates of depression, felt much better. Apparently chicken didn't have the same effect. It wasn't just about protein.
Right.
There are some,
Right.
specific red meat benefits, which we are well acquainted
with. Like the opposite of what we've been told our entire life. Red meat's the devil. Eat chicken.
Right. And apparently these effects are strongest in women, that women have the most mood effects from cutting out red meat, whereas we're the ones always ordering the chicken and the salad.
Yes, exactly. And that's one thing I didn't mention this, but I have cut out chicken since I've been pregnant.
Yeah.
I've just heard things, not necessarily that it's bad for you, but that, it's not as good for your health as the red meat is. So yeah, I haven't eaten chicken. It's just strictly beef and some bacon.
Yeah. Throw in some lamb when you get a chance. I like that.
And yeah, some lamb if I have access to it. I love lamb.
It's so good.
Yeah.
I remember when we went out to dinner in Nashville, you had some lamb.
Oh gosh, yeah, that was a good night.
It's so funny how really into red meat we can get once we really give ourselves the freedom to embrace our love of the carne.
Yeah, it's so funny. That would come off weird, I guess.
Oh, you just froze for a second. Say it again. I didn't even hear it.
Women who love meat.
Yeah, we need a shirt.
I eat meat.
Eat your meat.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. That's hilarious. It is. Well, I mean that's at the root of some of this stuff, right? Like they used to think like carnality, it's the same root. Like they used to think that if you that's the whole Kellogg's thing, right? Like feed people grains because it makes them less sexual.
Yeah.
Put your woman in the closet. Don't let her be all sexy. Keep her away from the ribeye.
Right, exactly.
Well, no wonder we're having fertility problems.
Veganism is not great for the feminine power, apparently. Apparently it's the steak.
Apparently the steak is what the feminine needs. Feed your
Crazy. Feed your femme.
Feed your femme the steak. All right. Now we're just babbling. So what is on your agenda? Like what things are you looking towards for your keto pregnancy?
Oh gosh. Not looking forward to morning sickness. So far I haven't had any, thank goodness. But
my friend Carolina, just because she's my closest keto pregnant friend. She had like a week of morning sickness. That was it.
Really?
She stayed with twins. She stayed keto, serious keto the whole time. She did start making a lot of like breads with pork rinds and things for times when she didn't feel like eating meat but wanted all the protein. So she had some tricks, but she didn't get sick.
I have this idea in my head that because I'm eating keto and I'm also keeping my electrolytes up, like I add the Keto Chow electrolyte drops to my drinks all day long. I'm keeping my salt up, all that. I have this idea that if I do that, then I won't have morning sickness. I don't know how that goes, but we'll see. I'm just telling myself, you're not going to have morning sickness, but we'll see.
Are you hungrier?
I am starving,
yes. Got it. So I saw a Facebook post about brisket.
Yeah. I'm starving most of the time. I'm starving right now. We're fixing to go eat some Mexican.
Okay.
Have some chorizo.
I should probably let you go so you can have some chorizo. But is there anything else you think people should know about keto, fertility, stuff like that?
Definitely keep it simple. Like I said, don't stress out about it because that's obviously not good for anything. So just give yourself some grace, especially if you're new and you're doing this brand new. You've never even done keto before, but you're doing it because you want to see fertility benefits. Just know that it's a process and don't stress out about it.
Yeah, I would say that one of the things to really focus on is what is your goal? And if your goal is fertility, making sure you're not super stressed out, making sure you're not under eating, making sure your body is really nourished and keeping your eye on the prize that this is not something that you might be reversing in a week or even a month. Like it might take some time.
It will. And you might have a day where you screw up, but it's a common thing that I hear. Like I fell off the horse. How do I get back on? Just do it. Just get back on. Don't think about, don't beat yourself up. Don't be like, oh my God, I did it. How long is it going to take me to get, like, just get back on it.
Right.
Don't
You can
worry
start
about
new
the
now.
details. Yeah. Don't worry about the details, and don't do like, I'll have a whole cheat day either. Like, if you have a cheat meal on accident, then that night get back on it and do what you're supposed to be doing, because, you know, if you just let it spiral out of control, before you know it, you're just going to be not keto whatsoever.
Right. Every moment is a new start.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Well, thanks for talking to me, Neisha. We'll be doing this again.
Yeah.
So this will be fun. And say hi to Dr. Berry.
I will.
And I'll talk to you guys soon.
Okay, great.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for joining us on Keto Life Support. If you'd like more, you can join our friendly Facebook group, Keto Life Support. Can't find it? Go to ketolifesupport.com. If you ever want to suggest a topic for discussion, that would be the place to do it. We'd really, really appreciate it if you would go to your podcast app and subscribe, because that's awesome. And what would be super awesome is if you'd be so kind as to write a review for us. Though we would love it if that review was awesome, just writing a review is all we ask. So have a fabulous keto week, and we'll see you next time.